I believe that cinema is the perfect blend of dreams brought to life and originality, sitting on a bedrock of creativity, portrayed in a way that people can connect with. So much so that it changes the lens of how we perceive our own society in a subtle subconscious style. These colorful, lively creations make an enigmatic connection which touches every heart in mysterious ways. Obviously, not all Bollywood movies are amazing, but they all bring something to the table, which tends to be overlooked by most. But one thing's for sure, they never cease to entertain. Someone rightly said that drama lies in the extreme exaggeration of feelings and thoughts, which puts a comical spin on the exhausting reality of everyday life. I come from a family that routinely looks down on everything Bollywood because its reach, impact, and adrenaline rush are lost on them. Regardless, I stand steadfast convinced that we're all connected to it in some way or another. It's just that they don't realize it yet. For me, Bollywood is pure love because it stands for the fearless celebration of life. Despite it seeming absurdly dramatic to some, a confession, many a time I have to agree. The most famous and frankly overused reason given by my family when they don't like a film is, what was that and why did I just waste my money on it? Their reasons are, how did those dancers just pop out of the blue? Or why stretch that scene so long? Logically hard to contest. But I'm talking about the power that it holds on society, its people, and dramatically on our emotions. Because it hits different for everyone, but the impact is still the same. There are some people who see these movies just at face value, looking at the cheesy romantic scenes with violins, flowers, and of course, Shah Rukh Khan. The emotional scenes with the dramatic crying and the lamentful music. The comedy with the boundless lame jokes. But that's where they miss the magic. The magic of those irreplaceable nuances. The silent subtexts, the gaze here, the brush there. The vignettes of creativity, which make the whole movie come together and make an invincible yet personal connection with all our hearts. That connection, which is formed just in seconds, can bring tears in our eyes. That's the power of movies. Now, if you personally get to know me, you'll see that if I'm asked to narrate a 2-line story, I can effortlessly stretch it into a 20-minute long one, like this talk, by adding every trivial detail and a little spice of my own, courtesy of the Hindi movies I see. They're like my saviors on a dark day, as they've given me a unique kind of confidence in myself. But they're also the devil, because they've gifted me with the art of proudly talking nonsense. My whole childhood is basically me constantly weaving mind-boggling stories and everyone falling for it. That flood of imagination and creativity directly having been initiated by the movies, more specifically Bollywood movies. Now, a few of my greatest stories. Everyone used to talk about how good a cook my mom was. So one day I told my friend that my mom got into MasterChef Australia. And I made such a compelling story that she actually stayed up most of the night trying to spot her on the show. When she realized I had pulled a fast one on her, let's just say it was not pleasant. Another incident proving my ability to talk nonsense was when my younger sister, aunt, my mom and I went for lunch. Now this is something many people can relate to. Because at the end of the meal, my mom and her sister started arguing over who would pay, both wanting to do so. So I turned to my sister and said something which I'll never forget. Seemed like a dialogue straight out of a movie. I told her that she doesn't need to ever worry, as we both start earning. I'll never argue with her and she can happily pay every time. Now this is less of a story because I do kind of want it to come true, but now you see the nonsense I was talking about. This talk is very close to my heart for many reasons, which is why I'm going on and on about it. But I've had some of my best and craziest memories with my cousins, which come from movies. My brother even cancelled my birthday gifts till I turned 21, and I'm not proud of why that happened. On my last birthday, I invited my cousins to go for a movie together, with me picking which movie it would be. As if me deciding didn't scare them enough, When they realized which movie we were going to watch, the wrath became as real as it gets. And then they got to know that we were actually headed towards Dabangg 3. I mean, the one movie I picked was the kind which my family looks down on, and I forced them to go for it. It's like the most typical Bollywood movie anyone could think of. With remixed music, a classic fight sequence, emotion-charged melodrama, and lastly, of course, a larger-than-life hero played by Salman Khan. They've not forgotten that day, and unfortunately, neither have I. There are so many incidents, but in all the excitement and fun, we all seem to feel that connection which I know was there all along. Bollywood, with all its exaggerations, jokes, and emotions, seems to transpose me into another world, one which I connect with at so many levels. I actually believe that my whole life is a Bollywood movie. The only thing it doesn't have is Karan Johar. I know my love for Bollywood is organic because even though I'm constantly surrounded by people looking down on it, it's never failed to amaze me. Despite all the complaining, I know what movies truly mean, especially to the people close to me. And for me, the biggest impression of Bollywood isn't the constant controversies or the nepotism, but the happiness it gives me, which nothing else can. So I've realized that in a way, when I simply need some light to guide me on a dark day, just watching these movies is happiness enough.